And to display the form validation errors, so we need to do something. So we need to do the same thing like we have done with the use categories. So here we have added this custom hook. So we need to do the same thing so we can use form validation errors inside our add task and also edit task. Okay. So let's add a new file here. Let's name it use validation. And here let's add the default structure of the component. So what we will receive. So let's take a look here. So we have here, as you can see, an errors object, and errors object has keys, and each key here is the name of the field. So we have the title, and the title has the RI, and RI contains validation errors. So we need to access the errors and also the key. And as I told you, so here the key is the name of the field. So here let's make it errors and also field. So we will receive the errors and the field. And what we need to do, so let's define a new function here. Let's call it render errors. And this function, what we'll do, so it will receive the field, which is the one that we have here, or without adding it here, because we have already the field here, so no need to add it also here. So it will use the field, or first let's use the errors, which is the objects that we have here, this one. And as I said, inside the errors we have the field, and we can use an array and give it the field, which is the key. As I told you, here we have the title, the body, and categories. And here we have the array, as I said, which contains the validation errors. So we can have more than one. So we can have title field is required, or title maximum and minimum characters. And we can have many fields, or not many fields, many errors inside this array. So we need to map through each error. And we get the error with index. And once we have the error, so all we need to do, so we need to return JSX. Okay, so don't use the curly braces, and also here JSX. So sorry, so don't use the curly braces here and also here. Okay, so we'll return JS X. So let's remove this one from here and make it parentheses. So inside what we need to do, we need to add a div and give it a class. Let's give it a class. Let's use bgdinger. What else? Let's use padding of 2, and let's give it text white. And what else? Let's use also margin top and the bottom of 2. And inside we need to display the error. And let's give this div also a key. So that's why we have here the index. And that's all. And finally, all we need to do is to return instead of returning the div. So we return the render errors. Okay, so we can use it. So now what we need to do, so we need to use this custom hook that we have created, but before we use it, so we need to add the parentheses here, which means that we return the function. Okay, so let's save, and as I said, now we need to use this use validation, so we can use it inside our add task. So here let's use down. So after this input field, which is the title, so here we can use validation. Let's import it. And as I said, we need the errors and the field. And to get the errors, so here we have the error. And let's go to the console. So here we have the error. And the error has the response, and the response has the data, and the data has the errors, and here we have the validation errors. So to display the error, or the validation errors. So we need first to check if we have the error, and error has the response, which means, so let's add first the response, and the response has its status code, which is 422. So now we can say, which means that we have the validation errors, because status here, as you can see, is 422. So if we have 422, which means that we have validation error messages, so all we need to do is to set the validation form or the form validation errors, and give it the error dot response dot data dot errors, as we have seen. Okay, so here, as I said, we have response dot data dot errors. So we access error dot response dot data dot errors, and we set the validation or the form validation errors. As if we have something else, which means that we don't have validation errors, but we have something else, so we can console and log and use those to tell the user that something went wrong. Okay, now we have validation errors, so we can use them. So here we can send the form validation errors, and the field here will be the title. Next, what we need the next one, which is the body. So here let's change it to body, and here let's change it to category ID. So here, so that's also save. Let's see, so let's first refresh the page to remove the previous errors that we had before. So we don't have now anything. Let's submit an empty form. As you can see, the name or the title is required, and the body field is required, and please choose a category. And here we have 422, which means that we have a form validation error. Okay, so let's do something. Let's go back to our use validation. Let's add also here rounded. So save. Let's take a look. So let's refresh. So I think we need to refresh the page again. So I think it doesn't change. So round, where is the N? Rounded. So now it's, I think it's better. So you can use anything else you want. So for the styling, not the content of the, not how we display the validation errors, which means this part. Okay, but for the styles, you can use anything you want. So now we have the validation errors. So let's do something. Let's field form. Let's check for the other. Let's check, for example, if we don't have the title. Not the title. If we don't have the body, now we have the body. Let's refresh the page. Add the title, the body. Let's check for the category. Let's add a category, check for the title. Let's add title, submit, and your task has been added. Okay, so if we move to the final page, we will find our task here. Okay, so now we are done with adding, we are done with adding and also with displaying form validation errors. Let's do something before we move to the edit. Let's use React. I think there is a package called React Spinners, so you can use it. If you don't want to use it, you can use Spinner from Bootstrap. So also Bootstrap has here spinners if you want, or if you don't want to use the package. Let's do something. Let's add here inside components. Let's add another folder. Let's call it layouts. And here let's add spinner.jsx. And we need to add here the structure of our components. So here we have spinner. So we can return. If you want to use only Bootstrap, you can use this one that we have here. Just copy add here a div with the flex and justify content to center, and let's give it margin top and the bottom of 2. And inside you can paste this spinner. Okay, save. Now we can use it here. So here we have we set the loading to true, and when we get the response we set it to false. So we can check here. So here we can do something. We can check if we are loading the data. So we displayed spinner. If not, we display the button. So here, let's copy this part and paste it. So we can import the spinner and use it. Okay, so don't forget to import the spinner here. So let's go back to our create form. Let's submit. So as you can see, we have the spinner here. Okay, if you want to use this one that I have or that we have seen, so this one, which is the React spinner, so or spinners, you can install it using the npm. Let's copy and paste. And instead of using, as I said, so they have many spinners here. You can check here the demo. So they have beat loader, bar loader, bounce loader, clip loader. They have many spinners that you can use. So to use it, all you need to do is to import the spinner that you want. So let's close this. Let's go to our spinner. So if you don't want to use Bootstrap, so here we have our spinner. Next, what we need to do, we need to use it. So here, just copy. And instead of returning, we can use this. And instead of using, let's see if it is installed or not. Let's go. So it's already installed. Let's save, or let's do something. Let's remove this and remove the color, and we can change the size to only 60. So save. Let's see what we have here. So if we submit, so it's still the same. Let's refresh the page. So when filming, sometimes the hot loading is not working, so we need to refresh the page manually. So let's click. So as you can see, we have the spinner, and you can, as I told you, so they have here, for example, this scale loader. You can use it if you want. Just copy the name and paste it here. And let's remove the space and use it here. And also you can, for example, use let's add the margin. So save. Let's see if we submit. So as you can see, we have the spinner here. Okay, so in case you don't want to use it, you can use Bootstrap as we have seen. So I think that's all for creating new tasks. So now what we need to do, we need to move to the edit. So we need, let's go to the home page. So we need to display the links here. So we have already added the route. So we need to display the links so we can update and delete our tasks. So let's do that now.